Here we go again. It's the start of a brand new season. That means there will be players going out, players coming in, and a whole nother pre-season to show you. Let's see what happens when we begin Season 3 of Leeds United, Pride of Yorkshire. Hello and welcome back to Leeds United, Pride of Yorkshire. As I've just said in the little intro, today we will be kicking off Season 3. In today's episode, we are going to have a transfer special, plus show you everything that is happening with the pre-season. As with Season 2, what we're going to do is every time something happens, whether it be a player come in or leave the club, we're going to cut straight to that part, show you what's happening, what the finances are, and whether it's a good deal for us. Also, we'll let you evaluate the players that we are going to bring in. And also, you're going to get the answer to the conundrum of, do I go out and splash big on one or two players, or am I going to have to pack the squad in? There is also some discontent at the club. We've had a few players asked to leave. Let's see whether we can hold on to some of them, or if they are going to force through a move. The first two deals are done. So let's jump in and start off today's transfer special with these deals. Nothing earth-shattering then for the first one. The first player has left the club, and it is Jacob Murphy. When we signed him, we did say he was just a squad player, basically, that was brought in to consolidate a few positions. He could play as a wing-back, he could play as a winger, so he was there just to pack the squad out. A Newcastle cast-off, really, unfortunately for him. We have recouped the money that we paid for him, so we get £1.2 million from Nottingham Forest, and he has moved on from the club. The second player to be leaving the club is Axel Disasi. Never really got a chance, couldn't get in past the current centre-backs that we have, like Lorente and Ahmed Hodzic. So we bought him in, what did we actually pay for him? So we bought him in for 7.25 million. We have taken a slight loss on him, and we have received 6.75 million. But Eintracht Frankfurt are getting a player that will probably go straight into their squad, whereas we just couldn't fit him in. So we are going to jump forwards and bring you the next deals as they happen. Okay, so the first deal has been done, and this is one that we could not refuse. It landed on our doorstep, basically saying that Angelo was available for £14 million. This is a player that you cannot turn your nose up at. Earlier on, when I did a video on him for the channel, he turned out to be a superstar at Inter Milan. So £14 million is an absolute snip. Let's have a little look at the player just to show you what we have got. So this is a player who can play off of the right wing, can play up front. Yeah, I think that once he settles in and starts getting first team football, he will start to excel immediately. Still 18 years old, so he fits perfectly into Leeds' philosophy of players under the age of 30 and players that could be moved on for a bigger amount if we need to. So let's jump forwards and see who's next, in or out of the revolving door. The next bit of business is one that closes a loop. Jack Harrison was unhappy in the back end of last season. He had asked for a move. We granted him the chance to be put on the transfer list. Nobody came in until now. Roma are agreeing to pay us £22 million to take him away from the club. Bit sad, really, because when Jack Harrison played, he really showed a lot of potential and was a brilliant player. But the money that we are getting after we have just signed Angelo, I think we are getting a really good deal out of Roma. And I think that if we reinvest that money wisely, we could get an even better player to come in and replace him. The next bit of business to happen is one that we were expecting. Diawara only came into the club on January, or in the January window, and already he is asked to leave the club. So we bought Diawara for £3 million, or 3.2 million, I think it was, and we have sold him on for £7 million to Burnley. A little bit sad about this one because I think he did complement the other midfield as well, but never keep an unhappy player at a club. We're going to move him on and then hopefully replace him with somebody else. The next bit of business to be done then is another centre-back. We are signing Luke Mbete. He's very much one for the future, signing from Manchester City for £2 million. Described as a breakthrough prospect. He's been out on loan for a season at Hull. He's one that comes in with quite a bit of potential, hopefully, putting some decent performances from Hull City. He comes in with the added bonus of being an English player who is going to add towards the homegrown quota. We have got a Champions League campaign coming up, plus the Premier League and the other domestic cups. So firmly one for squad rotation, and hopefully he can turn into a bit of a star. The next two pieces of business are done, and we are going to be taking on James Trafford, who is a 20-year-old goalkeeper, again from Manchester City's under-23s team. He's one that actually appears on FM Scouts Wonder Kids list, so to get him for absolutely nothing at the end of his contract might be an absolute bargain. The Scouts recommended him coming in as a C- as a useful signing for the future. Hopefully he's going to progress and become absolutely brilliant. Even if we sign him for nothing and turn him over for a profit in the future, that is something well worth doing. So we're going to confirm that deal. And then the second deal we are going to be confirming is Lucas Nameka. He is coming to us from Wolfsburg. He's a 24-year-old striker, can also play on both wings. So we are accumulating these quick, dynamic wingers / strikers. We have quite a lot of them in the team. He's only coming to us for a bargain of £10 million. So I think he is a player really with a bright future. He also has come via Manchester City's youth academy, so he has been trained in the country. Again, another player who can play in the Champions League as an English player. So 9.5, £10 million. I think this one's going to be a bargain as well. So we are going to conclude that deal too. And another one that is coming through the door quite quickly, straight behind Nameka, is Nico Williams. We are signing him from Liverpool for £2.7 million. He only thinks of himself as a bit of a backup player, so we are pleased to get this deal done. I think he can come in and have an impact straight away. He can challenge for the right back slot. He is a Welsh international, so again, another player who goes towards the quota of the Champions League. And this is a deal that I am happy to get done. 2.7 million, that's a bit of a bargain, surely. So we are only at the 26th of June. It hasn't even turned to the 1st of July yet, so plenty of life left in this transfer special. Let's see what happens next. Another deal then is about to be completed. This one has come a little bit out of left field. Spotted a player that I absolutely love. If you would have followed, again, like I said, and keep saying, you followed my last series, De Rotten Bullen, this is a player that we signed in that save, and he turned out to be world class. So, for the measly fee of 10.25 million, I feel this is a bargain I cannot turn down. I was looking at one or two massive names, and then Brenner pops up, and I thought, I can't not make this signing. I know now we are stockpiling players a little bit. We are going to have Sesko, Ackman, Brenner all up front, and also Adeyemi and Nameka can play there as well, I think. So it is quite a few players who can play in the same position, but I'm going to justify it by saying there is a long season ahead with lots of cups, lots of rotation. Fingers crossed we can squeeze them all in and keep them all happy. Let's move on and see who comes in or goes out next. Okay, the next transfer that has gone through is a player departing the club. It is Matthias Klick. He has been a wonderful player for the club. However, age has just caught up with him, and also with the signings of players like Puig and Brandt competing for the same position as him. He isn't going to get the game time that he wants. So we have looked to cash in, and we are going to be getting £1.1 million up front with a few add-ons with that deal. So I feel like it's a good deal for the club, and we're going to accept that money. As a famous Italian football transfer specialist would say, here we go. This is the big one. This is the one I've been looking forward to unveiling. Leeds United are putting pen to paper with Marco Verratti. Yes, we are signing the 30-year-old world-class midfielder as described by the game. You can see we are paying £54 million in total. 35 of that will be up front, and then there are certain add-ons that will be making it up to £65 million. We are very, very chuffed to get this one over the line. It's pretty much taking up all of the budget, so it's probably going to be the last transfer for players coming in. There is another one that has gone out, so I will show you that too. But in terms of everything we could ask for in a player, this is a very, very special player, and I'm looking forward to getting him into the lineup as soon as possible. So the player that went out, unfortunately, was Sam Greenwood. I know he's a brilliant prospect, young English player who looks like he's going to be a great player in the real world as well as on the game. But West Ham came along with a £12.5 million bid for him. As you may have noticed, we are stockpiling players who play in that position. So I felt it best that we just accept that, take the £12.5 million, as he really isn't going to get any game time at Leeds, and we can just move on. So with that signing announced, I don't think there's going to be much more transfer business. It's probably going to be pre-season next, but you never know. There might be one or two that go out just so we can get a few more spends and maybe bulk up that defence. But other than that, I think we're pretty much done. So I did say that we probably were done in the transfer market. However, sometimes players pop up at just the moment that you need them, and along comes Ibrahimovic Konate from Liverpool. So we're going to make our second purchase from Liverpool, just £11 million. This one really is a bargain, having had him in last season's De Bull and save as well. We know that this player is quality. In real life, he hasn't really been given a chance at Liverpool, and it doesn't seem that he has been given a chance there in the game either. So we have swooped along, and we're going to come and take him away from Liverpool for £11 million. And that this time really is the end of the transfer business. And we will be back with the results of the pre-season shortly. Okay then, so as promised, this time all the transfer business is absolutely complete. There was two deals that I didn't show you, one of which was Ruben Pulido has gone out on loan for the season, and then just Kiergaard has also gone out on loan. I think his development might benefit being away from the club at the moment, especially as we have brought in a lot of players in the same kind of positions. So let's show you what's happened in the pre-season. We started off with a 4-0 win against Antwerp. Absolutely battered them, as you would expect. Brenner, Llorente, Brandt and Sesko getting the goals there. Before we went and played Genoa, and we ran out 4-0 winners there as well. Moanta scoring, Brenner got 2 and Sesko scoring as well. Karim Adeyemi had a penalty missed, and Marco Verratti managed to get himself sent off on his Leeds debut. We then played SH Port. We won that game 3-1. Daniel James and Thomas having goals disallowed, but Ahmed Hodzic, Daniel James and Thomas actually got on the score sheet as we ran out convincing winners in that game. We then played 2001 China NYT. Not one of the Chinese teams I'm familiar with, but we battered them 8-2, as you might expect a Premier League side to go in and sweep them away. There were goals from pretty much everybody. Sesko, Halozek, an own goal. Kiergaard, Sesko, even Jamal Lascelles got on the score sheet, and Ahmed Hodzic got the 8th right at the end. We then played 2 more competitive friendlies. Well, they were supposed to be competitive. We brushed aside PSV 4-2. We reduced them to 3 shots and 3 shots on target, which they scored 2 goals from. We had 38, 16 shots on target. Played some brilliant football. Lascelles scoring again. Llorente, Thomas and Rafinha with our goals. Poe and Paolo and Sangare with their goals. And then finally, we played Feyenoord at Ellen Road and brushed them aside too, scoring 6 this time with Nameka, Moanta, Konate, Nameka, Halozek and Brandt rounding off the scoring in another convincing performance. So, pre-season has been a wash of green. We've won every single game, scored a lot of goals. We are in really good form for the start of the brand new season, which normally in tomorrow's episode would be the start of the Premier League season. However, as we won the Europa League, we're entitled to go to Kazakhstan, where we will face off against none other than Rosie's Derby competitors, Man UFC. So we will have a grudge match in the European Super Cup. Sorry, it's a great way to kick off our season and a brilliant way to get into competitive football early. We won't be holding any players out. We will be going to win this game. So that brings us up to date nicely. And tomorrow's episode is all set up too. We will face off against Man UFC in the European Super Cup. Okay, so that rounds out the transfer special, and the pre-season is all in the books again, as we are ready to kick off our third season in charge of Leeds United. A grudge match up first against Man UFC. We have got to fly out to Kazakhstan to play this game, which is a little bit strange in terms of venue, but it's what UEFA do these days. It's where the money comes from. So if you're still watching at this point of the video and you've enjoyed today's video and the content, please don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button to help the channel out. I appreciate everybody who stops by and does that. If you're one of those people though, we're going to push into tomorrow's episode and we are going to be facing off against Man UFC. Make sure you don't miss it. I'll see you there.